Dude, I love your wrestling picture. I love it.
Well, that's because I was a great wrestler back in the day.
I love that picture, dude. I feel like you're about to rip someone's head off, and like it's
I
time to.
did. You never saw you saw my viral video, didn't you?
Of you wrestling?
You never saw it?
No, I don't think I have. No.
All right. Well,
You send it to me. Send it to me.
that's just, all you
I
have
can
to do
probably
is
Google it. Can I Google it?
Google, yeah,
Oh,
Google
okay. All right.
Google Holy Cross WWE, and you can show it on here. It was on. Thanks, Chris. I know Joe D was fact checking me. Yes, he does. Yes, he does fact check me. Oh, because I got the transfers mixed up, the Princeton and the St. Mary's. I apologize for that. I was right on all the other stuff.
Well, listen. They're gonna fact check you more and more. You know.
Yeah. Oh, I want to be fact checked. I want to be fact checked.
I'm gonna
on my UConn knowledge. I was on TMZ. I was on Sports Illustrated. Wait do you see?
For what? What was that? What was that you were on?
So one of the other coaches and I were big wrestling fans.
Okay.
And it was during training camp. And my idea had always been just to we wanted to wrestle each other, just to get just to fire up the kids. And it was during camp and everyone was tired and bored and just burnt out, and the head coach came to me and said, do you have an idea of what you want to do? I go, what are you talking about? He said for that wrestling crap you want to do. I said, yeah, we can do it. And he said, all right, you're doing it before practice because we need the kids are dead. We need to get them fired up. So it's on you guys. So you can see it. It was on Football Scoop. It was on everywhere.
Oh, it was.
No, I did. I said, BCS went to a bowl game in 2007 with Matty Ice.
Christie's
that was the only time. I am not wrong about that. BC in 2007 went to a BCS bowl with Matty Ice, Matt Ryan. That's the only time that anyone from the Big East that left had success and won a conference title or whatever. Look, you can check that. Look at BC, Boston College, 2007.
Okay.
Well, it would have been 2008.
Yeah.
The 2007 season.
Are you talking to Chris D right now?
Yes.
Chris D loves the show, dude. Chris D, you're the man.
But it's true.
Chris D, you're the man.
I'm gonna look it up. I know for sure that was the only time that anyone from the Big East went to a BCS bowl.
Was when we went with to the we played Oklahoma.
Yeah, it was no, we went in 2010. Jeff Jagodinsky was the head coach. And it was the only time that they had success.
Who, UConn or BC?
BC.
Oh, when BC went to
yeah, he's saying that I was wrong on the BC.
Did Tom Coughlin have a lot of success?
He did, but they never went to a big time bowl game.
Oh, okay. Jeff Jagodinsky, what happened to him? Did he get fired?
He wanted a bigger contract.
Okay.
And
were you coaching with him?
No.
Oh, okay. So he wanted a bigger contract. What happened?
Oh,
they were like,
Christ.
No. They were like, no.
Yeah, they were no. Okay, all right. You're right. I was wrong. Jesus. They lost in the ACC championship game. But that's what I meant. That's what I meant. It was the only time that one of the schools had success They lost in the ACC championship game to Virginia Tech. They played in the Citrus Bowl. Okay, Chris. I'm sorry. Yep. UConn is the only New England school to make a BCS bowl. Yeah. Yep. You can laugh at me. But do you see the Holy Cross WWE?
No, I can't. Because if I go on right now,
I got you.
I'll freeze and then I'm gonna go back in, which I'm gonna freeze anyway, probably at some point anyway. But
Yeah. It was on TMZ. It was on Sports Illustrated. I was on Sports Center, ESPN.
What's cool is now I'm trying to do more of these lives on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, I saw.
So we're live on Instagram right now. I'm live on TikTok, but every time I turn it around and like show our thing, my face, they flag you and they won't show it to the. I don't know why. TikTok. About TikTok.
Probably because of the content that they worry about copyright rights.
Copyright on TikTok, but they don't realize that it's actually a live show. But I've tried to challenge it, but it won't work when I challenge it. So I just have to leave it on my face, which means that anytime you're talking, obviously,
right,
you can hear you, but you can't see you.
Right. I got you.
But Instagram is good. It has it regular, like it has both of us on there. It's like a regular podcast on Instagram, which is cool. I think.
So TikTok does not.
No, TikTok only allows it to be like my face. You know what I mean? When I do a live,
okay, I got you.
So I've tried. I've turned it around, and what it does is when I turn it around, I get this like we're not going to show it. We think that it's not original content, so they won't show it to like more viewers. So whatever viewers you have, that's it. They won't send it out to their algorithm. So it's weird. I don't know why they do that, by the way, but there must be some reason. It must be copyright. You must be right. I'm sure that's
right. Right.
So
yeah, Chris, I apologize. I distinctly remembered the 2007 season for BC, and I had thought they went to a BCS bowl. But that I know that was the only year that one of the former Big East teams made a conference championship.
Right.
Where is our Big 12 invite? Really?
I don't know. We still have a ways to go there on that, on the Big 12.
So how can they justify in inviting athletic mediocrities with no brands like Houston and UCF? I didn't know that the Big 12 invited or were going after anyone else. I know that they're going into the conference. I know that Houston is, and I didn't know that UCF. I didn't know UCF was going in.
I don't know if they are. They are. I'm not sure.
We definitely should be.
Should be in the ACC, dude.
Well, it comes down to the money, and again, like Joe D was saying, the ACC money is not great. The ACC, it's better than nothing. Yeah, the ACC television money isn't great. The contract they have is not great, but the college football playoff contract ends next year, so that's where teams could get more money. And they may expand the playoffs too, and they're trying to get the group of five like out completely after Boise State. Yeah, I know.
Did you hear did you see Mora really salvaged?
I agree.
Skylar Bell. I mean, I think you saw on Twitter how he's going after other college coaches, and it's really interesting how he.
I think he should. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. I knew that Houston joined. I did not know UCF went to the Big 12. And it's great that you live in Florida. I apologize. I did not. I know UCF had some great years under Scott Frost, and I believe, didn't they bring him back? They had a new coach. I mean, they went 13-0 and didn't get into the playoffs.
Gus Malzahn's the coach of UCF, I believe, right?
Scott Frost got hired somewhere.
No, I'm saying well, right now Gus Malzahn is the.
No, I know. I think he's the. I thought he was a D. No, I thought he left. He left. Yeah.
Gus Malzahn left?
Yeah, I thought Gus Malzahn left, and he took a DC job. He didn't take a head job. But I will double check that. And Chris is saying that the ACC is going to fall apart, and he is right. He is right.
The only reason it may fall apart is because some of those schools like Stanford have to travel, and Clemson and Florida State want to go to
if Florida State leaves and Clemson leaves, then yes, absolutely they will fall apart.
I just think they'll get other people in there. I don't know what the contracts will be like. They'll get another group of teams. It's just a changing landscape.
Yeah, so I see it now. What he's talking about, because it was Houston, Arizona State, Arizona. Yeah, I mean, Jesus.
Did we retain any other?
No, I didn't hear anything about the Price kid who went back into the portal.
Okay.
But I thought that the portal is closed by now. Because you said it's open for the full month.
No, the portal is open
until
playoff. Remember?
So right.
It's open. All right. So the first portal opening was December 9th to the 28th.
Yeah, right. So it just closed, right?
Right, and then, but I wonder. Hold on. What about these guys?
Because I know that a lot of guys end up without a home.
Grad transfers can go anytime they want.
Yes, they can.
So
if you graduate in 4 years, they reward you with a 5th year where you can go and play wherever.
So the UConn guys, basically, UConn retained most of these guys then, right?
The only one I was concerned about was Skylar Bell and, obviously Darrell Robinson. Sheffield graduated, and defensively, it's going to be tough because we're losing Jelani, Stafford, Jaden McDonald, who was incredible. But Price was he was the top inside guy. I mean, he played nose. He was great.
Okay, so here's the rule. Let me read this to you, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
So any player who participates in the postseason, be it a bowl or playoff game, has an additional 5-day window to enter the transfer portal once their season comes to an end. So that's why
the Price guy
Skylar Bell stuff was still going on, I guess, because we played on the 28th.
Yeah,
and it extended out 5 more days, right? So,
right,
just completing, I think yesterday maybe or the day before,
right.
And then so the other issue is like these other guys who are in bowl games now, still those top 4 teams, those guys still have an opportunity to transfer.
So after they play in the bowl game, they have a window to go into the transfer.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's why Arch Manning went in.
Yeah, and the other issue is very controversial because I guess Boise. So did you see the thing about Dirk Cutter? Dirk Cutter stepping down. The Boise, what is it?
Really?
Yeah. OC, I think he is. He's been around forever, Dirk Cutter. And he stepped down. He wrote a whole thing. I don't know if you saw it. But basically when he at Boise, they were getting contacted the whole week that they had off. They were getting contacted, the players, the whole time. And Dirk Cutter, let's see. Let me see if I can find it. Dirk Cutter.
Chris, Mike Burton has opened his wallet way too much. And we need to help him. I mean, it's www.bleedingblueforgood.org. And we need Bleeding Blue or the UConn Foundation or the C Club needs to hire people that focus specifically on fundraising, because there's a disconnect there between these entities, with the D'Amelios, with Burton, with the C Club, and then the UConn Foundation. And yeah, I agree with you that. Oh, okay.
So Dirk Cutter announced his retirement Friday after one season of Boise. He was former.
He's older too.
Yeah. And his post on Facebook, he said college football is. He wrote a 1,000 word essay. College football is changing rapidly and maybe not be for better. Conference realignment.
He's right.
There's more lack of governing with any power. All issues to be dealt with. He wrote, our best players are getting offered between 2 and 10 times what we can offer. We were losing recruits in the portal to schools that are just flat out bidding us. I know it's not all about the money. Coach C and staff will undoubtedly continue to find the right kind of guys, but money is an issue.
Of course it is.
Yep.
And they're going after Gene.
Second in the Heisman Trophy, was offered big name, image, and likeness money from SEC and Big Ten schools after his sophomore year.
Not surprising.
Obviously after rushing,
Cotter's staying as an analyst, it says. That's good. But yeah, I it's frustrating for me because I coached college football, Division I college football, for 10 years.
Right.
And it's hard enough. Like right now, you're on the road recruiting. As soon as the season ends, if you're not in a bowl game or whatever, you're on the road recruiting. Even if you are in the bowl game, you're on the road recruiting. It's hard enough trying to recruit players. And then now you have to recruit your own players to stay. So that is extremely frustrating. That would be extremely, extremely frustrating for me. That, I would have to recruit my own players year in and year out to keep them to stay. And I have to, they, like Mike had said, that they constantly want to renegotiate. They constantly, are asking
as they should happen, as is going to happen in the system without any kind of regulations or cap, and you're going to have a situation where you keep getting caught in this ongoing negotiational thing, which is obviously crazy, but it's there's no way that it's not going to happen, right? Because you're in a situation where how else could it not happen, right? Like, I'm trying to pull up Jim Mora, what he said on X.
No, it's just sad because it's widening the gap. The gap was already wide to begin with because of the Big Ten and the SEC with their expansion. That widened the gap naturally. And now it's widening even more because of the television revenue that can be paid out and the NIL discrepancies. When you looked at the top 10 NIL programs, Texas was number one at 20 million. Ohio State. I mean, it was SEC schools and Texas. I mean, Big Ten. I mean, you can't, like Vanderbilt can't raise that kind of money. Mississippi State can't raise that kind of money. So even in these powerhouse conferences, the Power Four, there's several schools that don't have the alumni that can donate that kind of money.
Right. Well, I wonder. So you notice how Big Ten schools are dominating this playoff. And
they are
outside of Texas getting in. I wonder. This is just me thinking out loud, and that obviously Notre Dame is doing very well, and NIL has helped them a lot, right?
Well, Notre Dame has a huge endowment and a huge alumni base that are rich.
I wonder if, as big as the endowments are in the SEC, if they just aren't as big as Ohio State or Michigan or Penn, maybe even a Penn State down the line, because you got a different level of high end, maybe, of money, or maybe a plethora more of people with big money in the north than maybe even the south. I wonder if that's an issue at all, or it just happens to be a rotating thing where right now the Big Ten is just better than the SEC.
I was shocked. I never in a million years thought Notre Dame would beat Georgia. That shocked the hell out of me. But Chris D mentioned what you have talked about. The gap is now spreading to basketball. The SEC has like 10 teams in the AP 25 in the top 25. And you're right.
Remember I brought that up?
You're right. It is. It's trickling down. That's the problem, is that I don't put it so much. I put it on UConn itself, just being happy to be in the Big East and dominate and have a good basketball program. But the reality of it is, in 5 years, we're not going to, because we're not going to have the money to bring anyone in. Right now, you're a two-time national champion. Money may not be as important. You're going to go to the league. You're being coached by Dan Hurley and Gino, the best of the best. And I think long-term that may be helping them. But unless you have, basketball is different because you're paying one or two players a year. So if you get a couple $1 million for that, you'll survive. Football, now that they're going to 105 scholarships, this will be the first year. If you can't get in the Big 12 now, it will never happen. Chris, I think next year we have a favorable schedule. And I think if we show consistency in football and win another 8 games, 9 games, and basketball takes care of business this year, I don't know how we can be ignored. I really don't. And UMass going into the MAC, I thought was ridiculous. UMass should just go back down to FCS. They haven't had any success since moving up to FBS. And that's my thing. But just looking at our roster, I was going through our roster positionally, and the guys that played in the bowl game and everything. We lost some key players, but we have a lot coming back.
We have a lot. We did not lose. I think the bigger concern portal wise is going to be not this initial one. The one I'm actually worried about is spring ball.
That's the worst one because it's what
your rosters are after that, right?
Yeah.
Your roster. You still have hope. You still have hope after in the winter, right? You're like, okay, I was a backup. I was a 3. now spring ball is my shot. If you go into and come out of spring ball and you're not the starter, or if you feel like, I don't know, you could get more money somewhere else, like somebody, starts calling you, then it becomes an issue. And I think that's the thing that concerns me too, is that
that's why the NCAA, I swear that they were eliminating the spring portal.
Still haven't.
It was going up for a vote that they were going to eliminate the spring portal because it's too much. It's too much. You can't recover and fill those spots. Yes, you get the scholarships back, but now you're in a full scramble in the portal trying to take you whoever you can get. And then, the tampering issue going through a third party, you're going to have to reach out to someone's high school coach or someone's uncle and say, hey, tell your nephew to go into the portal and we're going to take him.
Right.
But I mean, if you look at the quarterback position, we have no experience coming back besides Evers. They have kid Caleb Smith from Westport, Staples, love Staples, Sean Mulcahy, shout out to him. Tucker McDonald, who played a little bit in some mop-up time. He's from Holden, Mass. Cole Welliver is the big guy. Yep. And then Jake Triptree. They're all freshmen. Tucker's a redshirt freshman. So, I mean, you're not going to have success unless one of these guys is the guy that you have confidence in, or you're going to bring someone in the transfer portal. That's it. And Darrell Robinson is a big loss. Running back, they have a lot of running backs, but losing Darrell wasn't great. Cam and Mel stay healthy. They'll still have Victor Rosa, who I think runs hard. He's just not as dynamic and explosive. And they have a freshman, Oliver Coleman, who's a bigger back, but that's going to tell the story offensively. It's going to be, Evers didn't enter the portal, so he's obviously staying. I don't see how they can pay him what they paid him last year.
Right.
They're not going to give him that kind of money. I don't know that he's worth it. Dude, we are back-to-back men's basketball champs. Yeah, but why do we always have to wait and do more? Chris, basketball doesn't matter to these commissioners because the television contracts for basketball are peanuts. So they don't care that they're getting UConn because UConn going to the Big 12 isn't going to increase their television contract for basketball. It's not going to increase the television contract for the ACC that much. The only reason basketball makes money at all is because of the NCAA tournament. That's it. So that's why they want a competent football program that they can bring in and depend on. And there's many Power 4 school conferences that have schools that are crap, but they're there. Like I don't want to be Rutgers. Like I think Rutgers' ceiling is 6 wins.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't Rutgers is never going to play for a Big Ten title.
How could you say that?
I don't think they're going to have the money, and I don't think they're going to get the playoffs. Chris, yeah, I know we won 9 games, but Chris, we played a competitive schedule to the talent we have, but in reality, we played dog shit teams. We beat one team with a winning record. One. And it was Buffalo.
Buffalo actually won their bowl game too, I think.
But that was the only one. That was the only team we beat with a winning record. Win. But when and Joe D said it best, like if your home games aren't bringing in premier opponents, nobody's going to come. Nobody wants to watch. So once again, we're moving the marker. We beat bad teams. Chris, we beat the teams that were on our schedule. I'm not saying that. We beat the teams that were on our schedule, and I think it was smart because we weren't playing the Michigans, the Tennessees, and the Clemsons, the teams that we didn't have a chance at.
We got to win first, okay?
Yeah.
Then you could start to slowly add better teams, because if you don't win first, I always call it the Barry Alvarez method. Barry Alvarez at Wisconsin, we took over there in the 90s, they were terrible. When I mean terrible,
I know.
Terrible.
Yes.
And he would then book 3 patsies for his first 3 games and go 3-0 every year. Okay? But eventually what happened was he started out, he'd go 3-0, and then it'd be like 5-7 or something. Then he was 7-5. Then he was Big Ten champs, and I think he developed a level of confidence for those guys that eventually, as he kept getting a little bit better player and keep going 3-0, it made a difference. And then they started to become a powerhouse. It changed everything.
But I mean, they were in a conference at the time. They were right. At least in the Big Ten at the time. So I agree. If you're in a conference, I would play a weak non-conference schedule because it doesn't reward you to play a tough non-conference schedule. Losing doesn't help. But like next year we play 2 FCS schools. We're playing Delaware and Central Connecticut State. So you got to put up or shut up. I think that if we can go out and dominate in football and show again that we can consistently be good, then I absolutely agree that we should be in the Big 12 in the ACC. No question about that. I fully believe that. The problem is the Maryland game destroyed us because that's when all the talk was happening. We go down to Maryland and we just get beaten to hell. And then it's announced we're done. We're not talking anymore. But I don't know how aggressive our commissioner's being. I don't know, or our athletic director's being, how aggressive Benedict's being. I don't know if we can financially survive going into a conference and, like Dave said, not taking television revenue for the first 3 years. Because we don't have the money. We're not raising the money. That's why I say they have to put together a fundraising initiative like
SMU did, because of SMU that money.
Yeah,
they
can survive.
And they probably saved all their money over 25 years when they had the death penalty, when they didn't have to pay out anymore.
Yeah, I mean, but it's Texas, and they care about football in Texas.
They love football.
Care about football. People who donate to SMU aren't even alums. They just
I'm certain you're right. I think you're 100% right.
Yeah, and Connecticut doesn't get that. We don't get that. Now, my belief is we have strength in numbers because we went to a school that has 20 to 25,000 students. We graduate 5,000 student athletes per year, and it's literally dialing for dollars.
Right.
How can they not raise money when that track and field? Trisha Bailey, I had her on her, and Ronnie Rizza donated $10 million for a soccer stadium. Yeah, dude, I agree with you. They should be donating to Bleeding Blue, but we don't have people who care about football. That's the problem. They don't care about football.
Yeah.
Track and field was going to be cut. It was going to be done for good. And they were going to cut the track program.
That's
why Trisha's, yes.
Oh, that was phenomenal of her.
And remember what Joe D said? The dirty little secret that nobody wanted to know. Our athletic department is $45 million in the red.
Yeah. So how about that? So remember we had.
And I knew that, and I got yelled at for saying.
Yeah. So you said, "Oh no, we're not in the red." But why are people trying to hide it? If it actually is, if what Joe
Phil claimed to me that it was not true. But Phil, when I talked to,
would Joe D know?
Joe D, I think, knows everything. He knows where all the bodies are buried.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But Phil was not happy because I had said it many times that we are at a deficit, and he had a stern conversation with me that we are not at a deficit.
Okay.
We're in the black. We're making money. And I found that hard to believe because I know what the state was at a deficit for years, and they wasted all that money on investigating Cody Edsel being a coach. Like that was 7 figures they spent on a stupid investigation because Randy hired his son as a tight ends coach, like to see if it was on the up and up. And it's like every program in the country has a relative on the coaching staff. Right. And yes, Christy, I completely agree with you about Paige Bueckers.
What about Paige?
I have a certain friend who adores Paige Bueckers and loves watching her play and thinks she's the greatest. And she got hurt yesterday.
Oh, during the game.
Yeah. What happened? I thought she was going for a loose ball and they got tangled up and she rolled up on her knee, but she was wearing an air cast on her ankle. So I think that she may have hurt her ankle. It may just be a high ankle sprain. Okay. And Gino was very positive at the press conference and confident that she would be fine.
Okay.
But, I agree. Paige gets all this attention, and I see the TikToks of her, Instagram. She's all over. She gets all this money. And because I was there with the real players, with Diana. I was friends with Diana, Sue, Swin Cash. I almost broke her. Or I may have broke her nose. That was the last time I got to practice with the girls. Sue, Maria, Ashley, and Morgan Valley. I mean, they had players, and those, like, when I see Paige on TikTok, dancing around, shaking her ass and doing all that stuff, like Dee would never do that.
Well, hold on. If she grew up now, would she be doing it?
No, she wouldn't. She wouldn't because she was fierce and she wanted to win. All she cared about was winning. And I don't think
I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know. Dee may not be a good example of that, but
no, she is. I'm telling you, she was fierce. She was a competitor. She would rip your head off and shit down your neck. I mean, she was vicious.
I understand that, but
I don't think she would have been on social media as much as Paige. And that's what and if Paige had won national championship after national championship, she could do whatever the hell she wanted.
Who was like the best looking girl basketball player like when you played? Like who was like I don't remember who was in that era.
Not really. Swin Cash was beautiful.
Okay. So you might have had like Swin maybe, dancing more maybe.
Yeah, but they were a different team. They were trained mercenaries. Like they just wanted to kill people and win. So that's what drives me nuts about Paige. Is she is all over? All you see is highlights of her, because my friend watches her TikToks and Instagram and all that. And I just get frustrated because she hasn't won. And I get, she could have a sixth year. Yeah, I do. I agree with you, Chris, because I don't know how Gino puts up with it. When I see the TikToks and the crap they pull, the Gino of 20 years ago would have gone apeshit, in my opinion.
Mm.
And that's what drives me crazy is she's doing this and she spent all summer jet setting around the country, hanging out with Caitlin Clark, and she was with Taylor Swift watching football games. And you're supposed to be with your team in the summer. You're supposed to be training in the summer. And sure, maybe she was training on the road on her own, but they have all freshmen. And does that build chemistry with your freshmen when your best player, your captain, your leader is gone all summer? I mean, that troubled me as well. I was like, D would never do that. I do compare her to D just because I couldn't turn on a sporting sun. Yeah, exactly. That's what drove me nuts. She was in the front row. I mean, she was at all over the country this summer. It was the summer of Paige. And if they had won the national championship, fine. I have no problem with that. No problem with that. You earned your stripes. And as Joe D said, if he was building a Mount Rushmore for women's basketball, Paige wouldn't be on it. She wouldn't be close. He named like 10 people ahead of her. And I know she played in her 100th game. She would the last two games, Marquette and Providence, she only took 12 shots. And allegedly Gino is telling her to pass more, and maybe he is to get the others involved, and that's why Sarah Strong is good, developing and being better, and AZ's coming along. But I think Paige will go down as a disappointment unless she wins a national championship. You want to be the best, you want to say you're the best, then you got to win. And again, the finances that come with it, the lockdown douche. The lockdown douche caters to her 14-year-old fans. Not on here, Cully. It's the truth. Maria Conlon went viral because it was credible, legit criticism. Was it on my show? Because she criticized her on my show too. And Maria, Maria, again, Maria was a pitbull out there. She was fierce. She played with her heart. She played with passion. She played with energy. She did anything asked of her. And they won because they played as a team. And this team, all I see is TikToks of them dancing and having fun and screwing around and all that. And again, like, I agree. Gino from 20 years ago, I think he loses his mind. But they are allowed to do it. Like, I heard that practice has been cut short at times so they can go out and do basketball clinics at high schools for girls. They get paid to come in. So I just think that's ridiculous. But in regards to football, Connecticut, the fans, the state does not understand that football makes the world go round because it generates the most revenue.
Right.
Look at the Big East Conference television deal, and that will tell you the story. So we can win 10 national championships. It's not going to generate revenue. It's the billions of dollars that the SEC, their TV contract, the billions of dollars that the Big 12, the Big 10 gets. The Big East in basketball right now, Joe D said it. We're not a good conference. We're a very poor conference for being in the Big East. And they all wanted to leave. And I agree, probably leaving the AAC was the right move. But football-wise, it screwed us. Because now what do you do? Did you go to the Sun Belt just because you can? I mean, do you go to Conference USA? I mean, do you try to go back to the AAC just to get in a conference and have success? Like if you go to Conference USA, the Sun Belt, and dominate, will that get you into the Big 12? I don't know, but Jim Mora has done more with less than any coach out there. And he has built a culture in a few years. And I know everyone thinks Randy destroyed everything. And a lot of people are anti-Randy. I agree you stay independent for now. I agree. But because at this point, joining a lesser conference would hurt you more than it would help you. Right. I think Randy gets too much hate for the last few years. I don't think it was all his fault. And from what I know, he was promised a budget for assistant coaches, and he didn't get that. And he wanted to play the COVID year, and they didn't let him. So I don't think it was all him. I think he should have had a chance to coach the 2020 season and 2021 season and see what happens. See, I know the loss to Holy Cross was embarrassing, right, but I think he deserved that. But you can't not give Jim Mora credit for what he did this year. He was in a difficult situation. They had 60 new players, 60 between the freshmen and the transfers. And, like I said, I've coached college football. It's tough enough to integrate 20 freshmen. Integrating 60 new players, I can't even imagine. Dude, Randy was a nightmare with Holtz and this. Oh, yeah. Oh, so you played with me. Okay. Yeah, I know. Randy was a nightmare in 99. And he admitted to that. I had Randy on my show. He admitted when he came in 99, he handled things probably the wrong way. And he took a team that could have won.
Kids out.
Yeah. He wanted those scholarships, and there were guys that had 5th years that he pushed out that he shouldn't have done. There were freshmen.
Yeah.
Oh, well, your first year at the school. Okay, Chris. Yeah, there were freshmen that had already committed to UConn, and he went to their house and told them, listen, if I have to honor your scholarship, if your son comes here, you
left your phone upstairs.
Oh, okay. Thanks. If your son comes here, he's never going to play. He'll be on the scout team for 4 years. I suggest you look elsewhere. That's what he said. So our the class that I came in with, we had myself and one other player who started, 2 other players who started on offense. On defense, we were a little bit better. We probably had 4, but that class was poor. But after that, he did a great job recruiting and developing players because he always redshirted them. Yes, Hathaway was a nightmare, and that was a big reason Randy left. Randy never got along with Hathaway. Randy was a Lou Perkins special, and how that came together is incredible. I do agree with that. Hathaway was a disaster. Ward Manuel, I don't know. I mean, I thought he would be more of a football guy, but Benedict and Randy didn't get along, and that was the issue as well. So, just going forward with the schedule next year, I don't, 2 FCS playing 2 FCS schools. I get you want to rack up the wins, but Central Connecticut State and Delaware, is that going to get people excited? You're playing Ball State. Is that going to get people excited? FIU, UAB, again, they have a million home games. They got the only good home game they have is Duke. Duke is at home. So, but just looking at the schedule, I know they're scheduling for success, and I know that's smart. But again, there's so many things that have to go right. And I absolutely go with, first of all, we have 0 promotion. FCS school wins. I see wins. Dude, Cincinnati was playing Northern Kentucky in Division. Yeah, I know. They did. I know. A lot of schools do. I don't think playing 2 is right. I think playing 1 is okay. But when you're an independent, you got to find games wherever you can get them. I agree with that. But I think we do a very, very poor job of promoting the program. There's very, very little news about the program. That Locked On podcast is locked on shit. I don't think it. I don't think. I mean, I've listened to it. And no offense to Pete, he's a great guy. But I don't think he's particularly knowledgeable about football. I don't find him particularly entertaining, and he can give glory to God and all that, and it's great. But to invest in that, like, why? Nobody listens to it. Nobody cares.
Right.
We have the best content for UConn out there, bar none. Period.
So what as we come into the off season, what are we doing recruiting wise? What I wasn't sure.
Well, they signed. They did okay in the early signing period. I don't know if they're going to sign more guys before February, because I think they signed 12. Right? They signed 12.
Okay.
So I don't know. And they brought 4 in the transfer portal, I believe. So I mean that was good. They didn't get hammered in the transfer portal, which was even better. But again, we are not out there. There's no platform for UConn content. And that's what it's all about, and they don't get that either. Content is king right now.
Right.
Content is king. That's why there's the podcast craze. That's why you see all these shows on different schools. UConn doesn't have that. UConn does not have that. They have a social media team, and their social media team is a bunch of gingerhead dorks. Like they waste their time and money paying these kids. They don't, and nobody watches it. And they put their content on their website. If you go to their website, they have episodes leading up to the bowl game. I mean, you can see it. They have different episodes of shows leading up to the bowl game.
Right.
And I just thought that was so stupid. Like, why? Why would you do that? People don't go to your website to watch content. Like, if you go there, you can see this. Look at UConn Plus, all these things, all these shows. The Breakdown, episode 1, Winning Edge. I wonder how many views that got. 0. A Husky Life, 6 episodes. How many views did that get? Dick. Husky Recon. All these episodes. How many views did it get? Dick, and more dick. Inside the Paint, all access. You really think? I mean, that's what bothers me. That's what bothers me. There's an athletic department. There's grown men running this department, and they think that putting these dog shit shows on their website is helping them. Guess what?
I don't know that they even think that. I think that they might just be putting content out to put content out, right?
Well, they're putting it in the wrong place.
Right. And they don't understand the concept of getting viewership, getting content, having impactful content, and how big a deal that is, right? And I think that that's part of it is.
Dave, if you and I called Rutgers right now and we told them about your YouTube channel and we said, hey, we want to work and help you raise NIL money, Rutgers, I think, would jump at the chance to take that on.
Probably, but who knows? Who knows?
I
would guess probably because they need to raise money and they know they're in the Big Ten. You know what I mean? And
absolutely. I mean, I could call Temple right now.
Right.
And say, Coach Schuman Sports and Entertainment YouTube channel has over 1 million subscribers.
We want to start doing Temple shows, right?
We have the best content around. We'll help you raise money. Pay us.
Right.
I think they jump at the chance to develop the platform that you have, and for UConn to dismiss it, ignore it, not promote it, waste it, is ignorant derelict and just beyond stupid, because this platform could be used to help them. Yeah, I went to high school with Kevin Freeman. I'm a little surprised he's in that role. No, Kevin, you know what? Kevin is coming around to he's coming around to the idea of working with us. And we're hoping that, we're going to try to talk with him this week. He was all fired up when I spoke to him. He knows, and he knows, that's different. It's for the C Club. But I think that whether it's the C Club, Bleeding Blue, we have the platform, and I think we can do it all if we're funded. You want to raise money? You want to get people to join the C Club? Fine, we can do that. We'll get people to join the C Club, no problem.
Right?
People. I will. If you were at Fenway and at my event Friday night, I spoke to every single alum. First of all, they were all thanking me for doing that, for having an event, but not one of them knew what the C Club was. Not one. One of them thought, oh, does that mean I get to sit in Benedict's suite during football games? They didn't know. So the awareness isn't there. There's no awareness for the C Club. And that's their baby right now. According to sources, their priority is alumni engagement. Their priority is to get alums to join the C Club. And you get a fancy jacket to do so. And nobody's joining. And guess what? Go to the website, Christy. Try to find where the C Club is. Yep. Go to UConnHuskies.com and try to see if you can find where the C Club is. Because I couldn't. If you want people to join the C Club, I think it should be everywhere. I think it should be, on the top, National C Club, and have a drop down. There's nothing. I had to Google it to find it. So there you go. So going forward for success in 2025, Mike Burton cannot do this alone. As I said, we have 25,000 kids that go to the school. I don't know how many graduate each year. We have 5,000 student athletes that graduate each year. We have strength in numbers. So we may not have the $1 million donations that can come in, but collectively, if we can get enough people, enough former players to give, that's where I think it can work. I mean, there's guys, our alumni are successful. Our alumni are successful. I mean, there's no reason certain alumni couldn't throw $1,000 a month to Bleeding Blue, or a couple $100. And that's what I think needs to happen. As I said, every dollar counts. And I don't have a ton of money, but I give whatever I can. I give $100, $200, $300 here and there whenever I can to help Mike, because I know that, number one, he doesn't need this. Number two, he doesn't have to do this. Number three, he's doing it on his own. And I love Mike Burton. I would take a bullet for Mike Burton. Mike Burton nobody gives back more than Mike Burton. He always answers the call. He cares. He's done things for other people that would blow your mind on his own. people who, his teammates who have fallen on hard times and may have needed help. Man, I mean, there's nobody that is the definition of bleeding blue than Mike Burton. And he always steps up to the plate, and he always gives back, and he helps those in need. Yeah, help Mike. Yeah, I remember how pissed his dad was when we hired Pasqualoni. I still don't understand that one because his brother played for Coach P.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
Did you? But he started. He was a starter. That's why I never got that. Because he played at Syracuse. He was a good player. But Mike is doing this on his own. We have, God bless Tommy Collins. Tommy helps as much as he can. Tommy donates a lot of money. There's a few guys that do give. But it's just we just need more to do it. And that will help us. And thankfully, we didn't get completely raided in the transfer portal. But losing Jaden McDonald, Jelani Stafford, we're losing critical players on defense that are going to have to be replaced. We have a phenomenal coaching staff. We have to keep that intact. And I think we'll be okay as winter workouts begin, as the coaches go on the road and finish up recruiting. Does Benedict tell Mike Burton what the end game is
probably.
Yeah. Chris, Benedict has a very good relationship with Mike Burton. And, Mike was fairly confident that we were going to be in the Big 12. And I remember talking to him, and, he wanted to, at one point, he wanted to wait like 2 weeks before he came on because he was going to have an announcement to make. And he didn't have that announcement to make, unfortunately. But yeah, Mike is the one who at least works with Mora, works with Benedict, talks to them, because with the NIL, you don't have to. You can give money whoever you want to. But Mike tries to do it the right way. Mike has never missed a payment. And I think some of these schools are promising these kids money that they don't have. They'll say, "Oh, we're going to give you $1 million a year, $3 million a year." They don't have it raised yet, and that's why you've seen these incidents happen, like the one at UNLV, like the one at Florida. Guys leaving because they're not getting paid. Mike makes sure that everyone who's being paid has a legal contract. He makes sure that they have their own representation, an attorney to look it over. So Mike does what's in the best interest of the program, and Mike does what's in the best interest of the kid, which I think, again, he's first class all the way. And we would not be where we are right now without him. They asked him to get involved. They asked him to get involved, and he did. And since he's been involved, it's been an epic turnaround. Now, granted, again, our schedule was a little bit weaker, but I would rather play teams that we're competitive with, we're on the same level with, than go to Michigan, Clemson, Tennessee, and just get throttled. If the Big 12 talks ever happen again, it needs to be done in private. Everything, yeah. You're right. It does. It does, because when the entire nation hears that the Big 12 turns us down, yes, it does hurt. It does hurt our chances, and it does make us look bad. But the message has to be, yeah, I agree with you there. We could have beaten Duke. We came back. We should have beaten Duke. Wake, we should have beaten Wake. I was at the Syracuse game, and the no call on the Skylar Bell targeting killed them. The kick return killed them. And they scored in 2 plays on the first possession of the game, killed them. But had that not happened, I mean, they were in position to win. They could have beaten Syracuse, and that's a 9-3 team. And I agree. But next year, if we beat Syracuse, we beat Duke. It's all going to depend on the quarterback, and that's what I ask you, Dave. Do you think that they're going to be able to fix Nick Evers, and they're going to stick with him, and he's going to be the guy, or do you think that they're going to try to have a competition, bring in one of the freshmen?
They're definitely going to have a competition.
Transfer? Yeah.
Definitely going to have a competition. And who knows, maybe they look for another transfer. But
yeah, I think so too.
I think so. It's definitely going to be a competition, and I think we're going to find out who, if any of these other guys can play, and hopefully he improves. If he improves, I think.
They got to work with him. Yeah,
he could be a good player. He just, he's still young.
He's got 2 years left. Yep. He's serviceable. I think that he's got to put on some weight.
He's got the most experience, obviously.
Yeah, he does. But again, I posted about Joe Figiano. I have a ton of respect for him because he was put in very difficult situations. He was not the guy, and he rose to the occasion every time he had an opportunity. And that's hard. That's hard to do, especially if you don't think the coaching staff has full confidence in you. He went out there and he played. And 20 touchdowns to 4 interceptions in 9 games. We had this discussion before. Had he been the starter the entire year, would that have changed things? Probably not. Probably not. I don't know that we would have beaten Duke. I'm pretty. The way the Temple game was brutal watching Nick Evers. I can't remember if he started the Wake game or not. Serious question. Did you ever find out what happened in the Maryland game? Why did we get beat so badly? Maryland wasn't.
They're like shit. We weren't ready. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Chris, we had 60 new guys. Yeah, we weren't ready. I just think we came out flat. We didn't have our identity yet. We had probably too high of expectations on what Nick Evers was going to be. And defensively, that 3-3-5 concept is very intricate. It's a tougher defense to play than your traditional 4-down. So getting into the different fronts and the blitzes and the coverages takes a lot of work and a lot of reps. And until you get that game experience, I think that played a factor. But yeah, I mean, that was disappointing. But I think going forward, the focus, and I can't wait to have a conversation with Kevin. I can't wait to talk with Mike. This platform has to be used. The Bleeding Blue, Jared's guy, Thomas, is all in on Evers. Yeah. Even attacked our Joe D on Twitter for saying we would have beaten Wake had Fergano started. Yeah, that Jared I met. Jared works for Bleeding Blue. and he's in the press box for Mike. I just think Jared is defensive on Nick because Mike believes in Nick. Mike loves Nick's family, and Mike thinks that Nick is the guy. Mike thinks that Nick is someone who can lead us to a 10-win season. So yeah, I agree. Jared, he takes his job very seriously. And he does a lot of the social media content for them. But yeah, he's a little defensive about Nick Evers. I will give you that. But I think the win against North Carolina in a bowl game was huge. It's a launching point for what should be an amazing season coming up. If they get their ducks in a row and get the quarterback position settled. Is the Cully Schuman podcast too real for the athletic department?
Could be. It could be too real. I mean, listen, in today's era of podcasting, and if you
what's a beige paint host, Joe D and Maria? You guys say some hard truths. Well, I don't know what that means. Beige paint
hosts, maybe because they're white. Maybe is that what that means?
No, some beige paint hosts.
So anyway, I think in today's era,
bland hosts. Okay.
So I think in today's era, okay, this is an important thing to understand about podcasting and the new media and universities are slow to move. And so what's happened is they don't understand the appeal of not buttoned up podcasts, not guys who are just towing the line or just doing whatever.
Like Pete.
Who's Pete? I don't know who Pete is.
Pete Callan, the Locked On guy.
Well, I think he's just a guest of Pete on Locked On. But like, the people think that
Jared Kotler
in the old days, you had guys buttoned up. You said exactly what the school wanted you to say. Blah, 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 blah. It's all bullshit, right? The bottom line is today, people want to get real information, because there's so much information. We don't need to just only talk about what the we just don't need to talk about here's the stats of this guy. Like, people want to know what you really think about what's going on. And that's what people are attracted to. People are attracted to in podcasting and videos online to real thoughts, real ideas, real conversation versus just fucking patting the other guy in the back. Yeah, I mean, you pat Burton on the back, but he does a great job, and
Mike deserves it.
But it's an important thing that it's not just about patting people on the back. It's about trying to figure out what can push programs forward, asking tough questions, figuring out what the best things are, and to get multiple thoughts out there. This is an important thing. Getting multiple ideas out there creates a situation where you move the conversation forward. So,
Chris, I don't think Maria criticized Paige. I think she just wanted Paige to be more aggressive.
No, she criticizes her.
No, she does. She does, but she wants her to be more aggressive offensively, and I agree with that. Like, her taking 12 shots a game, I think, is ridiculous. She should be taking 20 shots a game. Maria's criticism of Paige was more, about the summer jet setting around when you should be working with your team and developing.
Well, why can't you do both? See, here's my only thing is, like, can't guys do both, or girls, or,
how your workouts are during, you could leave on the weekends, but she was gone all summer. She was sitting on the bench with Caitlin Clark. She went to New York Fashion Week. I mean, where? Just in my opinion, where are your priorities? Your priorities are going.
But what does New York Fashion Week have to do with anything else?
It has to do with why aren't you with your team? Why are you at New York Fashion Week?
And it was in the summer though.
It was right before school started.
So why was that a problem?
She was at the U.S. Open. Yeah.
Why is that a problem? But why is that a problem?
Train with your team. Be with your team. Work out with your team.
How is she not training with her team?
She wasn't there. She wasn't there. Summer workouts where everyone's there in the summer training. Every sports team is there in the summer training.
But don't you think they're arranging for her to be able to work out? Do you think she's not working out?
I'm sure she is, but she's working out on her own. She's not developing chemistry.
I disagree with that. I don't know that her being away for a couple of days. I mean, there are things you.
It wasn't a couple of days. It was all summer. She was away all summer.
She was away all summer.
All fucking summer. She was away. She was with Caitlin Clark. She was away all summer. She was away all summer.
I have to look that up. I don't buy it. I don't believe what you're saying here. So I think you're
Ask Maria. Ask Maria.
I am not.
She was gone all summer.
Is
she was away all.
Diana Taurasi, but I do think that some of this stuff on Paige Bueckers.
Hey Billy, good to see you.
Manufactured. Listen.
Manufactured
like this. Do you think that some people are jealous maybe of the fact that she's gotten all this stuff attention?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
of course.
So
I don't think she deserves
a little bit of it too.
I don't think she deserves
I don't think it's a problem. I really don't. It's the summer.
But that's when you train, Dave. Dave, when we were there in the summer, every sports team was there. Yeah, she was by herself. She trained by
That's all bullshit, dude. That's all bullshit. I think that's all bullshit.
Chemistry with your teammate.
Come on. Don't give me that.
You got all these freshmen. You got Sarah Strong coming in.
That people still can't train.
Dave, were you allowed to go home in the summer? Because
I was.
Randy Edsel, we were not allowed to go home for the summer. We had to stay both summer intersessions.
I stayed, but we did not. I stayed.
That's why we won
last year. But you didn't have to stay. I mean,
Randy made you stay. Randy said you're staying. And ask the 98 team. Ask Shane Stafford why they were so good in 98. I think
staying helps you. I do think staying helps you, but it doesn't mean that she's not working out. She probably did stay. I mean, I think a lot of that stuff's bullshit. To be honest,
I'm not saying
I think a lot of that summer stuff is just bullshit control shit. To be honest, that's what I think.
Well, yeah.
I think coaches just want to have fucking control over the athletes, and that shit is gone. That's what I believe.
I agree because now
I think coaches with the now listen, I think it benefits you to have your team there together and all that kind of stuff. Yes, I do think it benefits you. I think the whole player's hostage to that shit in the summer. And football, it's more important than basketball. Basketball still has the whole entire fall to get ready. Don't tell me that fucking being there in the summer is going to have a fucking impact over what's going to happen in the fall. No fucking way. No fucking way, dude.
Every
football,
team.
I buy it. I buy it in football because it leads up to it. But there's also something to be said to working your ass off and then being able to get away so you get your mind clear to be able to ride a long fucking 4-month season in football. So you're at your best. You want to be at your best, not just at the beginning of the season.
No, you want to
peak. The end of the season, throughout the season.
Correct.
Some guys, now I don't know if that's done anymore because I think guys have kind of moved on from that stuff. I think it was fucking bullshit. Now, there are guys you can't trust, okay, that are on your team. And those guys are made to stay there because they can't trust them going home and working, okay, and working out.
Correct.
You got to assess who you can trust and who you can't trust. But I don't, I think it helps if you're working out together.
If you are on scholarship right now, you are not allowed to go home for the summer. Nobody goes home for the summer anymore. And now it's worse because the coaches can work with you.
People are gone on the weekends. They're not. They're gone.
You can go on the weekend. That's great.
So they're not held hostage like you're saying, dude. They're not.
Yes, you are held hostage. You can go home on the weekend. I used to go home every weekend. I drove home. I drove 3 hours
on the weekend. So they're not held hostage.
Right, but you're there from June until August, straight through. You get a week off in the 4th of July, and you get a week off before camp. That's it.
Well, you're getting paid. You're getting paid now.
Now you're getting paid, but the coaches now can work with you. That's what I think was the biggest mistake, because now the coaches don't get the month of July off.
Yeah, I agree.
But for basketball, when you were there, when I was there, both teams were there practicing. Both teams were there working out.
Yeah, no, they were. But I'm saying I still, the way you got to train, you have to train specifically, obviously, to your sport, and you got to train to be fast and strong, period.
Yes.
However that is done best is probably at your university because you have the best facilities there.
No, if you can go home and do it on your own, I agree. But
you can't tell me that some of these elite quarterbacks aren't fucking leaving campus, dude. They're leaving campus, dude. They're training with their fucking trainers.
They have their trainers. Yes, I'm sure that's
what is the coach going to do when I'm not saying Arch leaves or any, but let's say Quinn Ewers goes home to his other part of Texas for 2 weeks to get with his QB coach. Are they telling him he can't do that?
If he goes home for 2 weeks,
that's fine. He's going to doing it.
He should for 2 weeks. I have no problem with that.
I'm just saying. My point is that
we're talking 2 months. She was gone.
Do you know that for a fact?
Yes.
I'd have to find. I gotta get a time. We gotta get a timeline on Paige Bueckers here.
I will call Maria Conlon right now.
I want a timeline on summer timeline 2024. Paige Bueckers. Hold on. UConn star Paige Bueckers shares exciting summertime moments from NCAA offseason. All right, you ready? Can we read this article together?
I'm gonna call Maria. I'm gonna show you.
I don't give a I don't care what Maria's not hanging out with her all the time, is she?
But she knows because she's friends with Morgan.
All right, here we go. Ready? All right, Paige Bueckers. I'm gonna read to you. It's up here. On Tuesday, Paige shared. This is August 28th. On Tuesday, Paige shared a glimpse into her summer break on Instagram.
Yeah.
They let her go, dude. It wasn't like they didn't let her go.
They didn't have a choice. They don't have a choice anymore.
Of her most memorable moments in the last few months.
Yeah.
Okay. So in photos, here she is with with AZ Fudd.
Yeah.
At the MLB.
She threw out a game for the Minnesota Twins. Yep.
Then she's with KK Arnold somewhere.
Yep.
Getting jewelry.
Yep.
Then she's let's see what month we're on here now. So that was a WNBA All-Star game. I think she was a KK.
That was in July. Yep.
Right. Then she goes to
she was gone all summer, Dave. All summer.
Dude, she had a fucking great time, dude.
I'm sure she did.
This article doesn't have that much stuff on it. It only has a few things.
Okay. Well,
yeah, it only has a few things. So that doesn't do me any justice. So whatever Maria, don't put her on the spot. She's gonna kick your ass, dude. Don't do that. Yeah, she will. Don't tell her you're lying. You better tell her you're lying before you put her on, dude. You better tell her you're lying. Don't be getting her pissed. Smart woman. That's why I like.
She's not answering.
She sees your call. She says, "Fuck that." Click.
She was gone all fucking summer. That's all I'm saying. She was gone all summer. And all I'm saying is,
Maria said, "Fuck that." Steve's calling me. Click.
Well, she's got practice. She had a game yesterday, so I'm sure they had practice. But
oh shit, that's hilarious.
She's jet setting all summer when she's got freshmen to work with. Sarah Strong.
She has to work with the freshmen?
Morgan Shelley. Yeah, they got to develop chemistry.
That's what they have the fall for.
Well, they didn't.
Aren't you practicing every day in the fall? Don't you practice every day in the fall?
I don't know how many times they practice in the fall. How about she can travel wherever she likes? She's a millionaire. Yeah, I know. I know she can go wherever she wants. I have no problem with
her. Do they have gyms where she goes?
She works out on her own. Yes.
Do you think she can afford to bring a trainer with her?
I don't think she needs a trainer. I think she knows what she's doing. I'm just saying that if you want to be successful, you work with your teammates.
Did Michael Jordan train with his teammates, or did he train on his own?
I don't know if Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan had the world's most famous.
They used to have fights during
train
practice
on his own. Yeah.
But when he practiced, they practiced like maniacs.
I think Michael Jordan was in the summer training with his trainers and his
you're talking about the NBA as opposed to college. I think that's completely different.
He's the greatest player of all time. I'm just saying.
Paige Bueckers is not the greatest player of all time. Paige Bueckers will go down as one of the biggest disappointments in UConn history if she does not win.
I am rooting for her now just because you said that so much, dude.
Can you grade her better than Diana, Sue, Swin, Maya Moore?
No.
Stewie? I mean, you can't say
UConn also doesn't have the talent is dispersed more.
Well, it is, but
we hoarded all the talent back in the day.
Yeah, everyone
wanted to hoard all the talent.
Well, we had a great freshman class this year. Like they have a great team this year.
I'm just saying you can't afford to hoard all the talent anymore. People are going to go somewhere where they're going to play, right? So in the old days, we'd have 5 All-Americans playing, 5 All-Americans on the bench. Right?
Well, it wasn't that like that.
There's no doubt. When Maria was playing, there were 5 All-Americans on the bench.
There were not 5 All-Americans on the bench when Maria was playing. On the 2002, 2003, 2004 teams, we didn't have 10 All-Americans. We Sue was an All-American, probably D was an All-American. Swin
I'm talking about high school All-Americans.
Oh, yes, you're correct. Yes.
High school All-Americans.
Yes.
You cannot see.
We did get high school All-Americans. Yes. You're 100% right. Yes.
Yeah. So you can't hoard the All-Americans anymore. So they're going to go to different places. So that has an impact on what you have. Like Caitlin Clark wanted to go. Caitlin Clark wanted to go to UConn.
Yeah, I know.
They didn't recruit her.
I know.
We would have a national championship if we just recruited Caitlin Clark.
We would have had a national championship if we just won the goddamn game last year.
We weren't good enough.
We were good enough. We had Nika Mules. We were good enough.
We were good. We weren't good enough.
We overcame adversity, and we were good enough to win the national championship. We could have beaten South Carolina. It would have been a tight game, but I think we would have beaten South Carolina.
They would have physically beat us up.
Maybe. I don't know, but this is the longest stretch.
South Carolina last year. I don't know what they're like this year. I haven't really watched that much about them.
They lost, but
last year they were killers.
They were vicious.
That team was killers. You know,
They were vicious.
Calling Maria after games.
Morgan and Maria are best friends. They talk all the time. Maria had just questioned in the USC game why they didn't call it.
I'm never shook, dude. Ain't no such things as halfway crooks. Scared to death. They're scared to look. You're shook.
But I was right. She was gone all summer. Dave doesn't think it was a big deal. I think it was. We can agree to disagree on that.
Paige, next summer, I'll go jet set with you.
She's going to be in Dallas.
We'll go jet set together.
She's going to be in Dallas next summer. And I think Paige is a generational special talent. I think she's exceptional. She's great to her fans. She appreciates them. She loves them. She's had a very difficult career with her injuries. Nobody's overcome more adversity than Paige. I have a ton of respect for Paige. Paige is a better athlete than I would ever be. I mean, everybody
hates on Paige.
No, they don't. No, everyone loves Paige. Paige is loved. She's universally loved. All I'm saying is win a national championship and then you can go jet setting. That was my problem.
If she
all the attention she gets,
if she wins a national championship after jet setting all summer,
you can shove it up my ass and tell me I'm wrong. And I will eat crow just like I ate crow saying the 3-3-5 wasn't going to work. I ate crow. I said I was wrong. I admit when I am wrong. I admit when I am an asshole. And I was wrong about the 3-3-5 not working. It worked great. Now, the offensive coordinator, I still have a problem with him.
I think Gino brings up Christy brings up an interesting point. I don't think Gino's lost his fastball in the sense that he makes up for a lot of it.
I did eat crow with your Boston College fact check. Yeah. I was right that they went to the ACC championship.
So I don't think Gino's lost his fastball because he makes up for a lot of it with wisdom. But I think recruiting is much more difficult now than it was.
It is. Yeah.
And I think
it's a lot of work.
That part, I don't know that another coach would make any difference, to be honest. Like, Gino's the greatest women's basketball coach of all time.
He's the greatest. He's like John Wooden. He's the greatest basketball coach of all time.
John Wooden of basketball, women's basketball.
But I put him in the same category, just basketball. Doesn't matter that it's women. I think he's just one of the best coaches ever.
I think he's one of the best coaches ever as far as how he is as a coach within his field. I don't know that if he was.
Well, everyone used to say they wanted Calhoun to coach the women and Gino to coach the men and to see what would happen.
I think each thing requires different skill sets. So
no, it does. It does.
That's like saying tell Jim Calhoun to coach the football team. He doesn't know anything.
Well, I mean, that's what like UConn fans would joke about because they hated each other. Calhoun
coaching
and
women and coaching men. I haven't coached women and not women, high school girls, and coached boys, high school boys. Coaching girls versus coaching boys, or in this case, coaching women versus coaching men. They're totally different, dude.
It's a different dynamic, 100%.
It's a totally different dynamic. Like, girls used to being friends with each other was a very important thing in the girl dynamic team wise.
Yeah, you couldn't have drama.
You couldn't have this girl hates this bitch type of thing. Like, if that happened, you had to squash that shit. Like, you had to figure out how to get that shit squashed because it literally would affect you. I think men, you could have that wide receiver over there who's a pain in the fucking ass, If he catches 100 balls, it
they'll
doesn't
tolerate
make
it.
chemistry as good. I agree with that. But you can still win a lot of games with that happening, right? Because
yes,
men could kind of compartmentalize. I don't really like that motherfucker, but
he helps us win as long as he does his job.
Yeah. He does his fucking job. He's not my boy, but that he does his job.
Yeah.
I do think QBs and receivers and tight ends, they have to have a good relationship.
The O-line,
linemen, I think that. But you could have in football, you could have literally the offensive lineman could hate the defensive players, and it don't even matter that they don't hang out really. Now, if they do, it just makes it better, right?
Chris D said, if you want more views for the podcast, put Bueckers as the title of the episode.
That's what we will do from now on.
Well, I'm going to get yelled
at. Next episode of Husky Hoops, the title is Coach Shu Loves Bueckers. Prove him wrong.
I talked crap, but all I said was I didn't think that her summer travel was good. I thought she should have stayed on campus and been with the team. She is the best. She's probably going to be the Naismith or whatever the women's award is, player of the year. The UFC girl, Ashton, whatever her name is, she looked much better.
Yeah.
And Paige taking 12 shots a game isn't enough. And depending on the injury situation, we'll see. But I still think that she needs to.
It's funny. We spend so much time talking about football needs to get more respect, and we just spend half the time talking about women's basketball.
No, we argued about it, but it all comes together because UConn, they'll donate and give their lives and buy.
Did you see this? Did you see the thing about Skylar Bell? Hold on, I'm going to read this to you. I didn't even see this. I don't know if this is true or not. Oh shit!
What it said? Not saying he's
Transfer
leaving.
Portal target wide receiver Skylar. But this is from Michigan Wolverines Reddit. Transfer portal target wide receiver Skylar Bell stays at UConn amid admission issues with Michigan. I think Sam said he needed to graduate from UConn first and wouldn't be able to join until spring as a grad transfer.
Mike Burton sent me a text yesterday.
Is there any truth to this?
I'm just telling you what Mike said from yesterday. He sent me that he's back. He sent me the tweet from UConn Barstool that he's back. But I'll ask him. I'll tell him that we're hearing.
There are issues that he has to get cleared up, and he could go into spring. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah.
It's all over the Michigan message boards.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it is honestly, it's a thread of something to do with admissions. So my guess is maybe he doesn't have a phenomenal.
He probably didn't have grades because Michigan's tough to
want
get
him to graduate, so he would go to grad school, which would be a clean slate, which means he would graduate in the spring from UConn.
He would have to, he would have to take a high course load to do that.
He could be a grad transfer.
Correct. Then his transcript wouldn't matter.
His transcript wouldn't matter at that point because he'd already be graduated, right? Is that the correct statement?
Yes. Once you graduate,
it's in Reddit. I wonder if that's just people talking on Michigan, or if there's any.
Well, Mike sent it to me yesterday, and then he said he wanted to talk. So, I have to go to work. You guys every day? No. We are on Mondays and Fridays, Chris, at 11 a.m.
I love how he rips.
And then Wednesdays at 11, we do Husky Hoops. And and then tonight is the big night. Tonight we do money line.
Although money line isn't live, right? So
yeah, I could run it live, or I'll have you run it live. And Rebel Republic gets pretty heated. And if Dave and Frank went to Worcester, Massachusetts, they would get shot.
We would not get shot.
Yeah, you would. You'd get shot.
I'd throw NIL money around.
Yeah, you'd get shot.
And they'd all come to the bar, and they'd all hang out, and they'd have
you'd fit in great in Worcester.
Absolutely. Massachusetts, come on, man. That was my spot, Massachusetts.
Schuman and Cully forever just hosting podcast. Yeah. Well, we're surviving. We're trying to get UConn on board with us so we can help them, even though we tell it like it is. We'll help them, and we have a platform that they don't, and we'll make them some money, which they need if they just take their head out of their ass. So
I think we're good there.
Yeah. So
all right, let's wrap it up.
Chris, we appreciate it. And I'm Steve Cully. This has been Husky Huddle. Coach Schuman, the next greatest influencer, YouTube channel. Go to the Coach Schuman Sports and Entertainment YouTube channel and smash that subscribe button. We're going to get to 2 million followers soon. And remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them back at Paige.